Beezie and I were talking about how to explain Kant's resolution of the antinomies and why transcendental idealism ends up being the solution. So, what he suggested is that the first thing he should do is he should read you this footnote, which, if you have this edition, is on page 504. Otherwise, you can look at A479, B507. So, the footnote talks about what we can expect out of any kind of answer to the kinds of questions that are debated in the antinomies, so to these questions of traditional metaphysics. And what it says is, I'll read you the whole thing. To the question, what kind of constitution does a transcendental object have, one cannot indeed give an answer saying what it is. But one can answer that the question itself is nothing, because no object for the question is given. Hence, all questions of the transcendental doctrine of the soul are answerable and actually answered, for they have to do with the transcendental subject of all inner appearances, which is not itself an appearance, and hence is not given as an object, and regarding which none of the categories, at which the question is really being aimed, encounter conditions of their application. Thus here is a case where the common saying holds that no answer is an answer, namely that a question about the constitution of this something, which cannot be thought through any determinate predicate, because it is posited entirely outside the sphere of objects and can be given to us, is entirely nugatory and empty. Okay, so what he means here, okay, in this long footnote, I think is actually really helpful for figuring out what he's trying to do in the antinomies. Because he is saying that, so questions like the ones that we face in the paralogisms, like what is the nature of the soul, or questions about the infinite divisibility of space, or the boundedness of the world in time, do in fact have answers. They have answers, but they don't have answers, I know, they don't have answers of the kind that traditional metaphysics is trying to offer. Instead, the kinds of answers that they give are answers that tell us why the question itself is a bad one to have asked in the first place, because we are trying to ask a question about an object that that is not given. So we are trying to ask something about what is not given as an object of appearances. I know that's kind of surprising, buddy. Okay, so what he is going to be doing then in these sections where he talks about his resolution to the antinomies, like where he talks about how transcendental idealism is a solution, is he's going to be saying why it is, why transcendental idealism implies that these objects are not given in experience, and so why these questions about them are in fact nothing.